Hi students, the last day session we concluded with operations management, scope and different types of production systems, right? Today's session I am going to deal with manufacturing and non-manufacturing operations in the organization and their characteristics and operations management in relation with other functional areas. The first topic is manufacturing and non-manufacturing activities. And their characteristics. Right? Okay. What is a manufacturing organization and what is a non-manufacturing organization? We all know that business organization is engaged in either producing goods or providing services, right? But no organization produces 100% of goods and no organization provides 100% of services. There is a little bit of difference. What is that? For example, manufacturing organizations are those which produces goods which are tangible, which is nothing but products. In the transformation process, the raw materials or inputs are converted into tangible goods, where in manufacturing enterprises. Whereas non-manufacturing enterprises, in which the organization provides services to the people, by the people, in some cases by using some machines, right? So those are called as non-manufacturing organizations. Here the output of these two enterprises are either goods or it is an action. Service providing is nothing but action. Producing goods is nothing but producing product. It is a tangible thing. Tangible thing. Okay. For example, I consider paper. Paper is a tangible item, right? This is the example for manufacturing enterprises. Manufacturing, where we are all know production is the process of conversion of inputs into outputs or conversion of inputs into semi-finished or finished goods, right? So here I consider the example of paper. Here the input for paper manufacturing are inputs, wood, or it may be a waste paper. A waste paper. So later these inputs are in the transformation process, either it happens the processing of the wood or recycling. Recycling process will take place in the transformation process, and the output is nothing but paper. Paper is a tangible good, right? So it is an example for manufacturing enterprises where the inputs are converted into tangible goods. Tangible goods. And next one, non-manufacturing enterprise. Here non-manufacturing enterprises are those which provide services to the people. For example, schools, colleges, hospitals, gym, restaurant, all these comes under service organization which provide services to the people. So the example for the service organization is non-manufacturing organization or service organization. Example, I taking the example for hospitals. So it is a service organization, right? So the inputs in the this service organization, who will there? Doctor, nurse, medicine, clinic, all these are considered as input in the hospitals, right? And in the transformation process, what happens? Observation, surgery, therapy, depending upon the patient's condition, they may conduct these activities, and which leads to the output. Output is nothing but treated patients. Treated patients. So, here the treatment is done to the patient, which is an intangible, which is nothing but an action. Right. So, it is the main difference between manufacturing enterprise and service enterprise. If the feedback is sent to the hospitals by satisfied or unsatisfied, if the patient is satisfied and unsatisfied, he will send the feedback, which leads to change in the inputs. If he is satisfied, he will continue to treat in the hospital. If he is not satisfied, he may changes the hospital. Right. These are the examples for manufacturing and non-manufacturing organizations. Okay. So, already I told you that no organization will produce 100% of goods and 100% of services. There may be some proportion of both goods and services. How? For example, we consider it is a goods and this one is service. First one, automobile industry. Automobile industry. Okay. So, automobile industry or steel manufacturing industry, we consider they produces the tangible goods, right? Or for example, cars or fridge. These are comes under manufacturing enterprise, right? If after purchasing of the car, the customer may want some after sales services from the organization. For example, all these are comes under goods, but they may want some sort of service from the organization, which is called as after sale services. Coming to the services, for example, teaching or surgery, all these are comes under services. Of course, there is no tangible product, but which includes little bit of goods or equipment is to be used. That's why I am saying that no organization will produce 100% of the goods and 100% of the services. The proportionate may be changes. For example, here the goods proportion is 10%, 90%, the service proportion is 10%. Here the service proportion is 80% and the goods proportion is 20%. Depending upon the majority of the proportionate, we consider either it is a manufacturing industry, like we consider it as a service industry. Okay, so every business organization wants to attain and retain the customer in the organization successfully, because the customer is the person who treated as a omnipotent king for the organization. So, they want the customer is to be maintained in their organization. So, they keeps on changing their policies regarding the changes of customer demands. Okay, so these are the different kinds of manufacturing and non-manufacturing organizations. Then, characteristics. What is the characteristics of a manufacturing organization is? First, I am considering the manufacturing operations. characteristics. Okay, I hope you understand what is a manufacturing organization is. Then the first characteristics is durability. Durability means having a longer life. Having a longer life. Already I told you that manufacturing organization produces tangible goods which have longer life. For example, cars and automobile products. Okay, these products have longer life, and these have the durability. Okay, and next one is expenditure. Expenditure. The expenditure to produce the product for the organization is very high, because to produce a tangible product, to produce a product in the organization which requires a large amount of infrastructure facilities and big buildings and plant layouts, all these may require huge amount. Not only that, material management leads to be very expensive in the manufacturing organization, because it requires too much material to handle. The handling of material becomes the expensive of the organization. In the modern business organization, up to 50 to 75% of the expenditure is on material management. So there incurs large expenditure in the manufacturing organizations. Okay, next one, customer involvement. Customer involvement. In the manufacturing organization, the customer involvement may not occur, because the organization produces the standard products which is depending upon the specifications of the market. Okay, so here what happens is, they produce products from different aspects throughout the country. For example, consider a car as an example. The engine may from the Japan, and the steerings and the tires, they may come from the another country. So it is not possible to assemble all those products in front of the customer. So participation of the customer in the production is not happens in the manufacturing organization. So there is no customer involvement, but the organization produces according to the demands of the market, and they stock them as the products. Okay, and next one, costly function. Manufacturing product is a costly function for the business organizations. Okay, it has to follow some quality in the production. For example, quality standards. In the manufacturing organization, we can assign the quality standards for the goods. We have to keep on change the standards if it is not properly working for the product. If the product is, we have some estimations and we have some actuals. We have to compare these estimations with actuals, and we have to change if there is any quality standard deviations regarding product design, size, weight, all these. Okay, so these are the characteristics of manufacturing organization. Okay, and next one, once again, durability, expenditure, customer involvement, and quality standards, which is the costliest function for the organization. Okay, and next one, non-manufacturing operations. Non-manufacturing operations and their characteristics. So, non-manufacturing organizations are those which provide services to the people. So the basic character of non-manufacturing organization is service orientation. Service orientation. It provides services to the people. By way of doing so, it collects some fees as a return. So service organization in today's scenario have the highest important in the society. Okay, and next one, customer involvement. Here the person who is rendering services is called as service provider. Is called as service provider, and whom the service provider is doing service is called as customer. So in the process of delivering the services, there is a need to have service provider and customer at a place. For example, a doctor and patient, both are involved in the process. So customer involvement is must in the service organizations. Next one, perishable. Services are perishable in nature. We cannot store them. For example, we can store a train ticket, but we cannot store the journey. Only the experience, the memories are to be stored. Okay, so services are perishable in nature. Expenditure. Next one is expenditure. Providing services or producing services need not have that much of expenses when compared with manufacturing enterprises, because it doesn't need that much of infrastructure, big buildings and big layout designs. So the high initial investment is not necessary for the service organization. That's why the expenditure to establish a service organization is very low when compared with manufacturing organizations. Okay. Next one, heterogeneous. The services are heterogeneous, which means they are not in the same format. For example, a doctor treating two patients may different way, because the services required by those patients may differ. So the services are always heterogeneous. Okay, these are the characteristics of non-manufacturing operations. Okay, so next one, what is the difference between service and goods is to be discussed. First one, goods versus services. Okay, I hope you are all following the class. Characteristics, goods and services. It is very simple topic. Okay, first one is uniformity of input. Uniformity of input. In goods, the uniformity of input is high, whereas in services the uniformity of input is low, which means here the goods or the manufacturing enterprises is producing same kind of products by using a defined sequence. Here they are producing those goods repeatedly. That's why the inputs are same for all the products maximum. Whereas service organization, the uniformity input may differ. We cannot estimate every two people have the same necessity. Okay, so the uniformity of input in goods is high, whereas in services it is low. And next one, Uniformity of output. Uniformity of output. Here the uniformity of output is high, whereas the uniformity of output is low. For example, if the uniformity of input is high, we are using same kind of inputs in every way, then we will get the output at the same. But it is not in the case of services. It may differ from person to person, from service organization to another service organization. Okay, and next one, labor content. In goods, the labor content is low, whereas in services, the labor content is high. Why it is low? Because the things are automated. The manufacturing process is automated by doing way of machines. But in case of services, the person has to provide services to another person. So there is a involvement of labor is in the service organization. Next one, output. The output in the manufacturing enterprises is nothing but tangible, whereas in the services these are intangible, which is nothing but it is an action or act. Okay, and next one, correct the problems. Correct the problems. If there is any problems in the manufacturing of goods, we can correct in the manufacturing organization. So the correction is possible. Whereas in services, the correction is not possible. Because for example, we consider the person who is getting haircut, it is not properly cut by the barber, then it is not done again. Because the thing is already happened, we cannot correct the thing. Okay, so correction of the problems is possible in manufacturing industry, which is not possible in service industry. Next one, customer involvement. In manufacturing organization, there is no customer involvement is possible. Not possible. Whereas in service organization, the involvement of the customer is must. Without the customer, the service organization cannot render these services. Okay, next one, investment. The initial investment to start the manufacturing organization is very high, whereas the initial investment to start the services organization is low. Okay, these are the different kinds of the differences between goods. Okay, next topic is operations management and their interaction and its interaction with other functional areas. As all of us know, the functional areas of the business organization, it is production management or operations management, finance management, human resource management and marketing management. We know that organization is a group of people working together to achieve a common economic goal. So here the organization intends to earn profit by combining all the activities of the organization. So we have to consider all the functional areas as important for the business organization. Coming to the operations management is the management of all the activities, which means all the regular activities of the organization, as we know that. Okay, so operation management is related with other functional areas undoubtedly, because the functional areas are to work under a single roof, right? So they have the relations with each other. For example, here I am showing different kinds of functional areas in the organization, their relations with operations management. So see this, first one, finance or accounting, which means it relates to the financial aspects of the organization. And next one, here I am showing you that marketing, which relates to the marketing aspects regarding selling of product to the customer and distribution activities of the organization or comes under marketing management. And next one is human resource management. Okay, and next one is suppliers. One of the important factors for the business organization is suppliers. They have to supply the raw materials for the organization to produce the goods or to provide the services. So, I consider these are the functional elements in the business organization. Now, I am going to discuss you with the relation of operations management or the interaction of operations management with these functional areas. First one, I am starting with finance. We know that finance is nothing but capital or money. We are acquiring finance from different sources by way of capital, by way of debentures from the financial institution. We are acquiring funds from the different sources and we are using that funds in the business organization. Okay, so already I told you in the first class that financial management deals with acquisition and utilization of the funds of the organization. Right, here what happens is, clearly there are two arrows. See this, two arrows. The first arrow is upward direction and the second arrow is downward direction. Implication, what it implies is the first arrow, which means operations management sending information to the finance regarding production and inventory data. What kind of production that they are doing, what kind of production process they are following. Next one, capital budgeting. As we know that capital budgeting decision is very important for the business organization. We have to decide, we have to purchase different kinds of fixed asset for the business organization. So, purchasing of fixed asset is nothing but capital budgeting decision, because which we cannot convert into money within a span of 1 year. So, we are investing our organizational funds in the fixed asset more than 1 year. So, it is called as capital budgeting decisions. So, operations management is engaged in producing goods, right. So, it needs some infrastructure, it needs some plant, it needs some facilities. So, it needs a capital budgeting requirements. Next one, capacity expansion. If the organization is started, it is going successfully, then it wants to expand to another place. It wants to expand their plant. So, it needs financial resources, that elements, and technology plans. As we know, business is to update with the technology, otherwise we are not compete with the competitor. So, if there is no technology in the market, we have to adapt the technology before our competitors adapt that. So, these are the plans which are sent by the operations management to financial management. And what they will send the operations management, here they means finance. First one is budgeting and cost analysis. Operations management or the production management team sends that they want some plant, they want some furniture, they want some machinery, which all require the capital budgeting decision. Now, what happens is the financial managers has to budget the activities, what are the funds that they have, how they can distribute those functions among the functional areas. It should be decided in the budgets. And capital investment. The related funds are invested into the fixed assets of the organization. So, here we observe that the interaction of operations management with financial management. So, in the first arrow, production and inventory data, capital budgeting, request, capacity expansion, technology plans are sent to the financial management by operations management. And what financial managers is sent? Budgeting, budget, cost, analysis, capital, investment. These are the information which is given by the financial management to the operations management. Okay. And next functional area is marketing management. Okay. Marketing department has the interface between the company and the customer. Because what the customer really want, what is the demand of the product in the market, it is known by the marketing department. So, they are the interface between the organization and the customer. Okay. So, the relation of operations management with marketing management can be described as this. This arrow shows the requirement of operations management from the marketing, and it shows that the information passed from the marketing to operations management. So, here first one, operations management to marketing management, product or service availability. So, operations management deals with production of goods and services. So, how much products that they have as a stock, it should be informed to the marketing management. And status of order. If the marketing managers has placed some order, what is the status of that order? Is it processing? Is it in the finishing stage? It is to be told by the operations manager to the marketing manager. Next one, delivery schedules. At what time? At what time period the order is to be delivered to the marketing department is to be informed by the operations management to the marketing management. Then what marketing management gives the information to the production or operations management is sales forecast, because sales forecasting is happened by the marketing management, because they know the changing demands in the environment. So, they decide the sales forecast and they send that report to the operations management to produce the goods. Next one, customer orders. If the customer order places a new order, it is to be sent to the operations management. Next one, customer feedback. Every business organization wants feedback regarding their products or goods. So, this feedback is given by the marketing department by way of customers to the operations management. Next one, promotions. How they are promoting the product. What are the promotion strategies they are following? Advertising, personal selling, all these aspects are related to the marketing management is to be communicated to the operations management. So, it is the interaction between operations management with marketing management. And next one is human resource management. Human resource is one of the factors which have life. Okay, so the human force have the feelings, emotions. So, we have to maintain the human resource successfully in the organization when we provide them the best possible opportunities. Okay, here of course the production is automated. Of course, we are using machines, but there are some persons who operate that machines. So, we need to acquire human force for our organization. Okay, so first one here, down arrow and an upward arrow. Downward arrow, which means operations management gives some details to the human resource management. Here what kind of details that he supplies? Personnel needs. Personnel is nothing but human resource. Okay. So, what is the need of particular job? What kind of persons that the organization need is to be decided by the operations management. And skill test, if it is regarding technical job, we have to test the technical aspects of the candidate. So, what kind of skill test is to be done, which is told by the operations management to human resource. Next one, performance evaluation. After recruiting the job, how we will evaluate the performance of the human resource. Okay, and next one, job design. What is the job description? How much salary they are expecting? All these things are comes under job design. It is a statement which is sent by the operations management to human resource management to recruit the personnel for the production wing. Okay, now what happens? The human resource management gives the information regarding hiring and firing. Hiring means we are accepting the candidates into our organization, whereas firing means we are eliminating the persons from our organization. Training, if there is any technical change in the organization, we are adapting new technology, so we need to train our employees according to the technology. So, we have to provide training for the employees. These are given by the human resource management. Okay, next one, legal requirements. There are some legal requirements which we need to follow. Some labor laws are there. So, we have to follow laws to avoid future conflicts among the labor and company. So, in this way the operations management is related with human resource management. And next area is suppliers. These are the persons who supplies the raw materials to the organization. So, here maintaining cordial relations with suppliers is very important, because for the timely supply of raw materials and there are some reduction, to get some reductions in the raw material supply, all to be comes under this wing. Okay, you observe these arrows. First one, operations management with regard suppliers. What they want from the suppliers, they place orders for material. Operations managers place orders for materials. Second one, production and delivery schedule, when they are producing the goods, at what time the raw material is to be delivered in the organization, it is to be sent by the operations management to suppliers. Whereas here suppliers will gives you the information regarding material availability. If we place an order for material, if that material is available or not, if it is available, at what quantity the material is available, it is to be sent by the suppliers to the operations management. And next one, quality data. The material, how much quality it have. As already I told you that the quality is to be estimated by the actuals. Estimated by comparing actuals with estimation, right? So, the quality data and delivery schedule designs. Which time they delivering the goods to the operations management. All these are the information which is given by the suppliers to the operations management. Okay, in this category, if we observe that operations management has to coordinate with all these functional areas to reach its goal. The goal of operations management is optimum utilization of the organizational resources, and it wants to increase productivity by reducing the production cost. There is another type of system is also there, that is information system. Information system which have the interaction with the operations management. Information is very essential in the organization for all the functional areas including operations management. Managing information is a tough task for every business organization, because it is the blood for the organization. It is to be supplied by the right person at the right time. Then only we will get the benefit from that information. So, information system will have the relation with the operations management. The operations manager has to get some information regarding functional areas, or with the help of the functional areas they may have some information which need to follow the systems and subsystems in the organization. Okay, so the interaction of operations management with finance, marketing, human resource and suppliers are to be observed like this. If we want to get a proper return from our investment, if we want to get reach the goal of the business organization, we just want to maintain the functional relationship between the functional areas is to be very important for the business organization. Okay. And next, after knowing how the operations management interacts with other functional areas, now we have to know the operations management function with management principles, that is planning, organizing, directing, staffing, controlling, budgeting, okay, and coordination. These are the different kinds of decisions that we are take in the business organization. Planning, we have to plan the the production process of the organization, which means what to produce, what, when, who, why and where. What to do, when to do, why to do, where to do and who will do a particular task in the business organization or in regarding operations management is to be taken care in the planning. Okay, next one, organizing. We have to organize the production process. Production process. Because as we know that operations management function is to conversion of inputs into outputs. So it is a process. We have to design that process in the organizing. Okay, next one, staffing. We have to appoint the personnel for the operations in the organization. Which operations is nothing but production operations. And next one is directing. We have to direct the personnel and process towards the production of a right quality quantity of products for the customer. Here the production is based on the customer needs and wants. So we have to focus on the if the product is satisfying the needs and wants of the customer or not. Next one, controlling. We have to control the operations function with regards standards and actuals. We have to do the control activity repeatedly, which means we have to send feedback. Okay, so by the way of doing this, we can analyze there is any deviations. We have to correct that deviation. And budgeting. Operations management requires a budgeting, which means it has some infrastructure facilities which need to be installed in the organization. So budgeting decisions also consider in the point of operations management. Next, coordination. Among all the functional areas of among all the functions of the management, the coordination will occur definitely, because whatever you plan, you have to execute that. Whatever you are organized, you have to direct those activities towards the organization goal, and whatever the activities that you are directing, you have to keep an eye that it is not deviated from the actuals. So in between them, the coordination will definitely occur. So it is the explanation for the function of operations management in relation with other managerial functions. Okay, and next topic is operations manager and his responsibilities. So operations management nowadays getting a prominent place as it covers both goods and services. Okay, so operations manager has to do tasks which related to the goods and services of the organization. Producing product is not sufficient nowadays. We have to distribute that goods to the customer. So operations management responsibility is wider than before. Okay, so his responsibility, as we all already discussed in the first class, that operations have the job opportunities throughout the worldwide. 50% of the employed people throughout the world have the jobs in the operations management. So as a operation manager, what he has to do in the organization is, first of all, he has to forecast the need for the factors of production, because the operations management deals with conversion of inputs, right? So we need all the inputs that are required to converting as a output. So operations manager has to forecast what is the need is arising in future. So basing upon that forecast, he has to arrange the factors of production to continually doing the production activities in the organization. And next, responsibility. What is this? These are responsibilities. Okay, and the next responsibility is optimum utilization of the factors of production. So, whatever the factors of production that you are attaining into your organization, it should be utilized at optimum level. No underutilization will occur. He has to take care about that. You have to utilize the resources at optimum level. Underutilization, wastages, losses is to be avoided as a successful operations manager. Okay, and next one is develop production process. Operation manager has to develop the production process to increase the efficiency in the product. Okay, so he has to develop the production process. And next one, change the production processes. If there is any change in the product design, if there is any changes occurs in the product samples, we have to change the production process. So, the operations manager has the responsibility to change the production process to get optimum output. To get optimum output. Next one, he has to design those processes in relation with employees, because he has to consider the employees are working in the organization, those have some objectives, some goals. So, he has to design those processes according to the employees in the organization. Otherwise, he has to train the employees to behave as like with processes. Okay, and next one is providing employee training. He has to train the employees regarding the production process. And next one is communicate with other functional managers. He has to communicate with other functional managers regarding financial, marketing and human resource aspects of the organization. These are the different types of responsibilities that an operations manager have. Okay, from this I think that you are understanding the classes.